Buongiorno and welcome back to Koi Fish Johnny. That's right, it's no clickbait or anything like that. I am literally going to be shutting down my koi pond and Koi Fish Johnny will be no more. It is a decision that I've taken a lot of time over, maybe like 12 to 18 months. I was literally 50-50 18 months ago when I lost all the koi, and I sort of stuck with it out of resilience and determination to sort of push through that stage and get back to a happy place with my koi keeping and get back happy in the hobby again. And that hasn't really returned, to be honest, and I think there's a number of reasons for that. Firstly, and predominantly, is the loss of Eric. And anyone that doesn't know about Koi Fish Johnny or how we started doing the recordings or anything like that, I had a sunken pond over there originally. And basically what happened in a nutshell is we lost our daughter and was grieving. We found Eric in the pond because we just bought the house. So basically we found Eric in the bottom of the pond. We didn't believe there was any fishing when we bought the house, but Eric was in there and he was like an half tench sort of thing, not the most glorious looking fish, but had huge sentimental value to us, and we absolutely loved that koi. We loved Eric, and he was the whole reason that got us into the hobby as we rushed down to UK Nishigoi to buy friends for him after cleaning the pond. And it led us on this mad journey, which meant that then when we had kids and we got our Jacks and Dylan, we wanted to make sure they were safe, so we built a risen pond, not a sunken pond. We moved from a sunken pond to a risen pond, which is this beautiful pond, the pond of my dreams. And I'm very super lucky to have had this pond, and also to have started YouTubing at the same time, because I wasn't a YouTuber, I'm still not really a YouTuber before getting into this, but I sort of videoed digging out the pond, doing a few things after seeing a few things online, and then I published it, and I've grown since then. I loved the hobby, and I've loved growing into YouTubing during this, and I've added more and more fish, and then I've made quite a few errors, accidents and learning curves is probably the polite way to put it. I'll put a few of them in the description below, about going through the hobby, encountering things, learning about the nitrogen cycle, learning all the time about water isn't just water. What falls from the sky isn't the same as what comes out the tap, all right? In a basic nutshell, there's a lot more to this hobby, this beautiful, amazing, creative, great hobby that is koi keeping. But the minute my je ne sais quoi has gone, and I think I was on a knife edge, 50-50. Shall I continue? Shouldn't I continue? With the bacterial issue that I encountered 2 and a bit years ago and it devastated my pond. And basically what I had to do was, all the fish had to go because we were all carrying this bacterial issue, and I had to do a full factory reset basically on my pond. And as the fish were just deteriorating and falling apart, as I'd made this huge mistake, which I really wish I wouldn't have made, but because it's just kicked the arse out of me, and it's resulted in this. But I had to put Eric to sleep, and obviously finding Eric in the sunken pond in the position we were in, he was the catalyst for all this happiness, all this enjoyment, all this being round the pond, all this watching him not being glorious to look at, and he definitely wasn't just a tench, a golden half tench type of thing, and the others, all the swimming jewels around him, and we used to love coming out. But I have to be honest with you, when that happened, I was a 50-50, do I go back, do I not? And then I did go back. I went back with the starter pack, and I've had the starter pack now for 18 months, and I just haven't had that magnetic pull towards the pond. I've been more reserved, I've not been out as much, I've not been checking as much. I felt like it's a bit of a grind, and I feel like losing Eric has lost the soul of the pond. That's probably a nice way to put it, is I've lost the soul of the pond, and it's made me detach from the hobby a little bit, on top of the demands of my life at the minute, because having 2 young children, I need potentially a bigger garden, which is another discussion which we've been having with the wife. There's a lot of factors coming into the decision-making process that has not been easy, hence why I've given myself like 18 months to sort of make this decision. And I haven't made it at really the best time, but what I've done is I've given it a full season, 18 months, there's nothing wrong in the pond, all the bacteria and everything's been killed off, and we have got good water in there and a good happy ecosystem within the pond for those fish to start a pack to grow, which they have been growing amazingly. Which brings me on to another point, which is I sort of need you guys to help me out to how to move fish on, how to sort of sell my fish, which obviously I'll need to sell the fish before selling the equipment. And as you know, I've got so much equipment, be it in the house with the overpriced measuring bowls, the landing nets, the treatments for like damage to the fish, but I've even got like Vercon and lots and lots. I've got basically everything that you've seen on the channel, and that is a lot of stuff upstairs. And then obviously when the fish have gone, I've got the windows, I've got the Nexus 220, I've got the Tempest at the side there, I've got the UV lights, I've got pumps, I've got air pumps, and I've got to sort of get rid of this, which is, as I'm saying this, it's sort of making me like a realisation of the decision that I've made, or we've made as a family, to move forward. It's going to be a long like journey to end this, but I'm absolutely gutted. But yeah, if you can drop your comments in there, if you're interested in the fish, drop me a comment. There's my email is on there on the channel, and it'll be in the description. Hopefully, if it allows me to put my email address in the description, just reach out. Please don't waste my time asking me like stupid questions, because everything is on the channel, and this is hard enough to sort of go through without time wasting or anything like that. So I basically need the good guys to come forward. If you're interested in the fish, let me know, and if you can offer assistance, help, guidance or support or anything like that on how to move my fish on, it would be absolutely amazing. Which then brings me on to the other subject, and I'm going to do more videos. Obviously this one is just to get this horrible one out of the way and let you know how I've been feeling and why I've been so quiet, why there hasn't been that many videos this year from Koi Fish Johnny about koi, because there's only been 10 in this entire season. I've done 10 videos, which sort of shows you, maybe you've known longer than I've done before this video's come out, because maybe you've, oh, look at fish coming up now, maybe you've known that my enthusiasm has been waning a little bit, and I've been sort of teetering on the edge for a while before this video's come out, which wouldn't be a surprise. He's a beast, him. Doitsu Karashi guy, yeah, so one of my favourite fish just comes to the window as I'm closing down the pond. Wonderful, thank you for that. But yeah, so I'm going to take it on a bit of a brighter note. I ain't going to quit YouTubing or anything like that, and I will probably be back to koi keeping at a later date, a lot later, when I've got a lot more time, maybe in retirement or something like that, I don't know. But I know that I will return, but at the minute I'm going to be closing down the pond. But with the YouTube channel, which has come off the back of koi keeping randomly, and I really enjoy this. I really love talking to the camera, sharing my journey with you guys, sharing bits of my life with you guys, doing the holiday videos, which get a lot of like, help a lot of people out, see around the complex, make a good decision. I'm going to start growing into that sort of area, sharing more about the experiences. Obviously, we've got the house videos, which have done really well. I'm going to say a bit of a lifestyle blog, or if you've got any ideas about where I can sort of grow into with this, because I don't want to give up chatting to the camera, because it helps my wife's ears. She's, I talk a lot, as you know. I do like to run my chops at times, is probably the way to say it. So it does help the wife's ears, me YouTubing. So I just need to sort of figure out what direction I can take that in. I'm definitely not going to be taking the videos down of old, because I just feel like my experience going through the hobby is fantastic for people to understand the mistakes that you can make. Help people, especially newbies to the hobby, understand how unrelentless and unforgiving this hobby can be at times, because it's not just as easy as dig a hole, put a liner in, let the fish swim around happy, and the water's all the same, because it's not. What falls from the sky is not what comes out your taps, and both of them can be harmful for the koi. And understanding the nitrogen cycle, I love that video that I did. I'm going to link that in the description, because it's one of my favourite videos, in explaining to myself the nitrogen cycle, because it can be overwhelming when you get into it with all the testing of the pH, NO2 and everything that you have to test. It can be overwhelming. I try to put it in nutshells to help people like me with small brains understand and digest it properly, rather than being overwhelmed, because it can be overwhelming. But yeah, so there's a lot there for you guys to digest and understand, especially the guys that have been with me from very, very early stage. And I hope this doesn't. Well, I'm going to keep going forward. I'm just closing down my pond. The next video I'll probably do is trying to sort of get a rough measurement on the fish, or try and look at the fish, or get them out so you guys, and also might be directed by the comments. So if you can drop the comments in there, drop anything in there really that's relative, or just nice stuff really, and helpful stuff about moving on the koi. The next stages, obviously the first stage needs to be to move the koi out, so then I can drain the pond, so then I can sell the equipment. But oh man, this is awful. It's not a good episode. Yeah, so on that note, I'm going to just end it. Yeah, great to get it off my chest, but not very good is probably the way to say it. But yeah, end of an era.